Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om. May the Divine lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace.
It is a prayer to Mother Sharada, who is the source of infinite beauty, infinite attributes, enchanter of Shiva, success of Ramakrishna. She is universal mother, destroyer of evil, restorer of universe, source of infinite bliss and joy. You are divine Durga and Parvati. अनन्तरूपिणि अनन्तगुणवति अनन्तनाम्नि गिरिजे मा अनन्तरूपिणि अनन्तगुणवति अनन्तनाम्नि गिरिजे मा शिवहिन्मोहिनि विश्वविलासिनि शिवहिन्मोहिनि विश्वविलासिनि रामकृष्ण जय दायिनि मा शिवहिन्मोहिनि विश्वविलासिनि शिवहिन्मोहिनि विश्वविलासिनि रामकृष्ण जय दायिनि मा अनन्तरूपिणि अनन्तगुणवति अनन्तनाम्नि गिरिजे मा जगतजननि त्रिलोकपालिनि विश्वसुवासिनि शुभदे मा जगतजननि त्रिलोकपालिनि विश्वसुवासिनि शुभदे मा दुर्गतिनाशिनि सन्मतिदायिनि दुर्गतिनाशिनि सन्मतिदायिनि भोगमोक्ष सुखकारिणि मा दुर्गतिनाशिनि सन्मतिदायिनि भोगमोक्ष सुखकारिणि मा अनन्तरूपिणि अनन्तगुणवति अनन्तनाम्नि जय मा परमे पार्वती सुंदरी भगवती दुर्गे भामति त्वं मे मा परमे पार्वती सुंदरी भगवती दुर्गे भामति त्वं मे मा प्रसीद मातः नगेन्द्रनन्दिनि प्रसीद मातः नगेन्द्रनन्दिनि चिरसुखदायिनि जयदे मा अनन्तरूपिणि अनन्तगुणवति अनंत नामनी गिरिजे माँ शिव हिन्मोहिनी विश्वविलासिनी शिव हिन्मोहिनी विश्वविलासिनी राम कृष्ण जय दायिनी माँ शिव हिन्मोहिनी विश्वविलासिनी राम कृष्ण जय दायिनी माँ अनंत रूपिणी अनंत गुणवती अनंत नामनी गिरिजे माँ.
I'm reading from the book Ascent to Spiritual Illumination by Swami Ashokananda. The chapter here is 4 Pillars of Wisdom. I am often faced with the objection that Vedanta is a fine religion as far as it goes, but that it cannot answer all the questions about ultimate reality. Now I ask, answer to whom? To children? They might be bald-headed and mustached, but they are all children. What experience do they have? Sitting in their armchairs and speculating. They want to understand the profound mysteries of reality. No, that is absurd. To such, I would say, the answer to your questions is not understandable to you now. But practice a little more and your understanding will become stronger. Children, as you know, are always asking inconvenient questions. They are a terror in that respect. All you can do is to give them some pacifying answers and hope they will go to school and eventually be able to understand the right answers. In other words, you ordinarily expect the mind to develop before it is able to grapple with certain questions. Why should you not also expect this in the study of philosophy and theology? You may consider yourself intelligent, and you may be intelligent in certain respects, but if you want to understand the subtlest of all realities, the spirit, then you have to develop and refine your intellect. Vedanta does not assume that its philosophy can be understood by just anyone. No system of knowledge has ever adapted itself to ignorance. I should not give you the idea that conviction comes to us only through the process of detailed philosophical reasoning. No, sometimes it may come from something unaccountable. All of you have read, no doubt, the little book containing the letters of Brother Lawrence, who was a cook in a Carmelite monastery. As a young man, he was a footman in a great French family. He had had no education whatsoever. Yet, one winter day, while he was looking at a bare tree standing in the snow, suddenly the conviction came to him that God was present in everything, everywhere. Never did he lose that sense of the presence of God. All his life he practiced it more and more. And it is quite clear from his letters that by the time he died, he was highly advanced in spiritual knowledge. Here, the sense of the presence of God became a conviction without the help of reason. Once Swami Vivekananda, who, as you well know, was a great speaker, was asked about his lecturing. Swamiji said, "It is God who speaks and God who listens. God is the speaker. He is seated in this instrument And from there he produces these words. And the Lord himself, seated out there, receives these words through all these years and hears them. Where is any person? Where is the person to speak and the person to hear? Sri Ramakrishna put it in a very simple way. He used to say, to know many is ignorance. To know one is knowledge. If spiritual awakening takes place within you, you find you do not like multiplicity, you like unity. Your whole soul craves for the one. Here is reading.
Now a short period of meditation. Friends, welcome to the Sunday service of the Vedanta Society of Toronto. Today's topic is interesting. What do gods signify? Gods, plural. In Hinduism, we find mention of many names of gods. Krishna, Shiva, Kali, Durga. And also in ancient, if you read Vedas, there are other gods, Mitra or sun, Vayu, Varuna, air, water, Indra, the Lord of lightning and rain, Lord of water bodies, Lord of air, Lord of sun, Lord of moon. All these are called gods in Hinduism. Seems that Hinduism believes in many gods, but surprisingly, Hinduism believes in one God, which is the ultimate reality, which is inconceivable by our mind and which unapproachable by our thought and speech. And that ultimate reality, that manifests as so many powerful being, benign being on which our life in the world depends, our betterment depends. So those are the gods, we call them gods. Natural forces, the powers, the air, the ocean, the sun, the fire, all are power. Behind the power is will. Will is the greatest power. Without will, there is no power. Behind every power, there is will. And behind every will, there is ego, the I sense, some being thinking, I am there. Swami Vivekananda at one place says, I believe in a God who is feminine and thinks himself as feminine and thinks her to be the creator of this world, saying that this world is the product of the Divine Mother. And God thinks herself as the mother, and I create this world. That is the ultimate manifestation of that supreme, unmanifested, infinite being. So that's how the Hinduism goes from this variety. They have the power to go to ultimate and unity. One of the most magnificent achievements of the great Hindu spiritual genius is the realization that the same infinite and eternal spirit is conceived and worshipped by men and women in diverse names and forms, and that different religious systems are only different ways of approach to the same ultimate goal, that eternal spirit, that Paramatma, that supreme self, that Brahman, that is the ultimate but, and that is being worshipped through all gods. All gods are manifestation of that supreme being. So all gods signify the power of that ultimate reality or Brahman. Brahman, because it is inconceivable to our minds, that's why it is concretized in the form that we can approach it. We can pray to it. It grants our prayer. Brahman is nirguna nirakara, without any qualities, any attributes, and without any form. That has no attribute. How will you approach and pray? There is no form. Where will you find? But that very being, ultimate, all-pervading, infinite, supreme reality, the pure consciousness, which has no division, as if it became concretized and took a form of God for the sake of his own creation, the creation that is the product of God. Why God created? And there has been many thought. The God, the perfect being, why did he create? Perfection doesn't need creation. Creation is a sign of imperfection. Some want something to do, something imperfect, still not complete. I want to create that. Any creation is the sign of some desire. And desire is a sign of imperfection. You are not fully satisfied. You are not contented. How God can have that some desire left? God is no desire. He is akama. How can he have desire? But how to explain this creation? To explain this creation, idea came that there is a creator. When you see the creation, creator is there. And the Hindu genius then thought that the creator is there, that doesn't create. It is created by the power of that supreme being. God is untouched by the process of creation. And that supreme being's power, as it were, creates. And that's how they try to make the God fully contented, fully free from all desires, even no desire to create. And the verses like, Eko aham bahusyama, I am one, I want to be many, is to explain to us why this creation might have come. To say that I am one, as if God became bored by remaining one. And he wants to be many. I want to be many, I am one. The God never becomes bored. It is contented. It is perfect. Perfection is contentment. And then how did God create? Many theories came. One of the theory is God created, like you see in other religions that created from something. In 7 days they created the earth, and on the 7th day they created the human beings, like those creation theory. In Hinduism, the creation theory is the God created this actually by the power called Maya, by hiding the truth and diverting that knowledge of truth. Avarana Shakti and Vikshepa Shakti. It first covered the truth of itself, and then it says, oh, I am one, I want to be many. And then it became many by diversion. First, it tried to forget by its power. God didn't forget, but creation started that way. Otherwise, there is no explanation of creation. Creation has to come from some wish, some desire, something. And finally, Advaita will say it is not created, it just looks like creation. It is no creation. They will even not like the word creation. They would like to use the word projection. Something is projected, it is not really there. It just seems, it just appears. That's why they call it avidya or maya or mithya. Mithya means that it seems like true. An example given is mirage. Looks like there is water body, there is a tree, shadow of trees, and you go there, nothing is there. It just looked like real water body, water pond was there, but nothing is there. Like this world is the thing. It looks like so much real, but in reality it is not real. It is temporary. It has got limited time of existence. It comes and goes. Whatever has limited existence, it was not there in the past, it will not be in the future. For the time being, it appears as real. That is called mithya. It is not real as such. Real has to remain. It should be not acted upon by the time or space. It should be all time, it should be same, unchanging. And all time, and it should be everywhere. That is limited somewhere is not real. That is limited in time, it is not real. So that is how the reality is explained in philosophically in Vedanta. Reality that remains always. Trikala abadhita, which is not bound or limited by the time, by the space, and by the object. That's what it is called real. So this world naturally doesn't remain always. It is ever in flux, ever changing. Created today, one day world will not be there. Big bang, and there will be all big bang will be gone one day, nothing will be there. So it is not real in that sense. Ever changing, never lasting for same, and created one day, and every object that is created has to be destroyed. That is the rhythm, that is the law of creation, law of nature. So then that supreme reality, that Paramatman, that supreme self, that appears as different gods and the creation and the jivas, and beautiful this world of ours that we perceive, the galaxies, the solar systems, and in our solar system so many bright bodies, heavenly bodies, planets and the stars, and so all these are the creation from that being. How did he create? One is that he created through that idea, thoughts. Another is how this creation came. Creation came and gave the example of spider. As a spider creates waves from its own body. So this whole world has come from God. It didn't have to have some object from which it has created. Whole creation is God himself in different perception. And it said, God as a spider creates wave out of its own body and again absorbs that wave in its own body. Like that, God creates this universe and again it absorbs this universe within himself. And again it creates another time. Like that, the cyclic process of creation and establishment and the destruction, absorption, it goes on eternally. That's how relation between the creation and the creator. And the Vedanta gives 3 examples. It says, yathurna nabhi srijate grihnate cha, yatha prithibhyam osadhaya sambhavanti. Like the spider creating the wave and again absorbing it. Like the plants growing from the earth. It is not only created and it's outside. it is very much supported by the Creator, like the plants growing from the earth. Where do they live? On earth itself. Like that, we are created from God and we are in God. Because this whole creation is nothing but God. And it says, like the earth, it is a dead matter? No. Then it said, yatha sata purushat keshalomani tatha ksharat sambhavati vishwam. Like the hair that grows from a living being, living human being, sata purushat. And it grows there, is supported by that. Like that, this creation has come from that aksharat, akshara, unchanging being. Akshara means which doesn't change, which is always same. From that being, this changeable universe has come. Ever-changing world is actually grounded in unchanging reality. This world is in God. World is God. That's why for the people who have understood and found out the truth of the ultimate reality, for them the whole universe is God. Everything is divine. As was being read from Ashokanandaji's writing, a lecture, that those who speak are God, those who listen are God. That is what the concept of Vedanta. Nothing there is other than God. The world is not, and God is. What we see is a perception, is an appearance. But what is real is God, that ultimate, blissful, eternal, immortal being that appears as the thing that is ever-changing and weak and full of all defects. The perfect being appears as imperfect, because imperfection is not in the creation. Imperfection is in our system, in our cognizance. If we could be perfect ourselves, we will see the world as divine, as perfect, as wonderful play of God. Lokavattu leela kaivalyam. This whole world will seem like a drama going on. Wonderful drama of sometimes it is comedy, sometimes it is tragedy, but it is wonderful play to observe this, and remaining detached, we observe this play. So what do gods signify? So let us see about the gods. So all gods, like we worship Krishna or Ramakrishna or Chaitanya or Shiva or Kali or Rama, they are the representation of the Supreme Reality Brahman. And the Supreme Brahman is our own soul. That is our own being, that I in us, I do this, I want this, that I, other than want and other than do, that I, the real I, the spirit, the soul, is that Brahman. That Brahman is not to be found. We cannot find it here. And how to find that Brahman? To find that Brahman, we are habituated in finding something object. So that Brahman, which is the self, which is the subject, our own subject, now is thought of as object. And that object becomes that form of God, Jesus Christ, or Krishna, or Ramakrishna, or Kali. All this form are nothing but Supreme Self, unchangeable, unlimited, immortal Self. That Brahman is worshipped in the form of Krishna. And in Krishna, all you find, the bliss aspect of Krishna is often imposed on, bliss aspect of Brahman is imposed on Krishna. Krishna is blissful. Whoever approaches Krishna becomes full of joy and bliss. And the stories of Bhagavatam and the Leela all comes. How these gopis, the devotees of Krishna, that cowherd girls, maiden cowmaids, milkmaids, were forgetful of themselves when they saw Krishna, when they saw God, when they saw their own self manifested outside as that sweet, charming cowherd boy. They forgot everything about themselves. They forgot their family, their duty, their relation. They forgot themselves and ran to be near that Krishna. So much of joy to be near God. We all see God in all our desires and wants, in all our trying to live for long years, trying to live healthy, trying to know the things, is the impulse of our true nature, which is Sat-Chit Ananda, which is existence itself. Our reality, we never die. We are always existing immortal. That's why we search immortality, because we identify with the body which is ever changing, yet we know that we are that being. That's why a wish to manifest our true nature of immortality mistakenly through the body which is ever changing thing. But what we seek is that immortality, to regain the knowledge and idea and consciousness of immortality in us. Only through body becomes difficult, it becomes erroneous search. But searching immortality is not wrong thing. We seek knowledge, chit, consciousness, awareness that never goes. We hate being fainted. We want to remain aware always, all the time. And that is because we are by nature Chaitanya Swarupa. We are conscious, we are Chit Swarupa. And we are Ananda Swarupa. That's why we love joy. Nobody wants to be unhappy, sad, frustrated, depressed. We want to be happy, joyful, because that is our basic nature. That is the nature of our soul. That attracts us. We want that what we are. Satchid Ananda. And that Ananda, that joy is expressed in love. Love for all. And this love is expressed to make us one. When whatever we love, we feel oneness with that. And because we are all one, that's why we like to love, we like to be loved. We like to express the unity that is our very basic instinct, our basic reality, that we are all one. We are one with all human beings, we are one. Only forms appear different, but in reality we are all one. We are one with the whole earth. It's the earth, the trees, the mountains, the rivers, the sky, this cloud. We are all one with that. That is the reality. There is nothing other than me. We want to be one with the whole universe, sun and the galaxies and the moon and the stars. And if there are many universes, we are all one, want to be one with that. I want to expand myself to feel one with the whole creation, and I am that. Swami Vivekananda in the Song of Sannyasa says, all is I, and none else exists other than I. Whatever exists is I. Just we have not understood that. To understand that, that's why the need of God with form. We need Krishna to worship, to approach, to understand, to love, to offer our worship. We are worshipping Krishna, we are worshipping our own soul. We are trying to get closer to the soul, closer to ourselves, closer to the ultimate reality by worshipping Krishna. By meditating on Ramakrishna or Buddha, we want to be closer to the soul who manifests as our own soul. Why do we love Krishna or Christ or Buddha or Ramakrishna? Because they represent our own fullness, totality, purity, knowledge. All that they represent. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, the truthfulness, the reality, pure existence, and the beauty and the goodness of our soul. That is represented by these gods. The gods signify the Brahman itself. Without incarnations of God, like Krishna and Rama and Ramakrishna and Chaitanya and Jesus, it is very difficult to really approach that reality. These are the Manava Avatara, the God born as a human being, living as a human being, then giving up the body as the human being at the end of their lifespan. There are other avatars which are called Nitya Avatara. They are always there. They were not born as the human beings. They appear as the human beings, like Shiva, Vishnu, Durga, Kali. They are Nitya Avatara. They are always there. They were not born as the human beings. They didn't grow up as the human beings, but they are always there and they reveal themselves. They also represent the same thing. They signify the Brahman, the supreme reality, our own soul. They represent our own Atman. Our Atma appears that way. Sri Krishna says in the Gita, great declaration, Aham Atma Guda Kesa Sarva Bhuta Sayastita. Oh Arjuna, everyone's Atma or the self, that being thinks as myself, I. That I is not that being, I is me. I am there as the I of that being. Not only human being, any life form that has the ego sense, any life form with the sense I, it tries to survive, it tries to have the feeling of I sense. So it has to eat. So that I sense, wherever is there, it is God Himself is the I sense of that being. What a great saying, that God resides in the heart of everyone as I sense, as the Atman, as its very self. That God is to be worshipped. And that's why different gods signify that thing. As it is said that Hinduism is so wonderful, it finds God as the self of all. Not only that, or God as the manifestation in different forms of avatars, Leela avatara, Nitya avatara. Not only that, even in the power of this world, we are born as the human being. The goal is to manifest and know the reality, to realize God is the goal of life. But for that we have to survive. And to survive we need the support of this creation. And this creation seems to be very powerful. It has the sun that gives energy. It gives the water, there is a life form, it depends on that. There is the wind that gives us breath, the prana. And there are so many difficulties in time. There is earthquake, there is lightning, all those are the times. And Hindu genius mind of the Vedas, they try to find behind this power is the will. Behind the will is the phenomenon. There must be someone like us, human being, who controls that and feels that I am the ruler of that power. And they gave the name of that power and also tried to make it anthropomorphic, tried to give the human shape of that power, to feel the presence, to pray to them. And we started praying. Vedas, the first portion of the Vedas called Karma Kanda, are all prayer to these natural forces, and they're called Abhimani Devata. The Devata is God, the small g. And Abhimani, and who thinks I am the ruler of this, I am the God of this. The Devata means bright being, and who thinks that they are the ruler. So to that being there are the prayers. All the prayers is that. To sun god, to Vayu god, to air, to the ruler of air, ruler of sun, ruler of moon, and ruler of fire, ruler of water. Like that, all the rulers are supposed to be anthropomorphic. As a living human being, they worship that. In India, every deity is like a human being. Even you'll find that Ram Lala that is being worshipped there in Ayodhya, it was a contender to have his place there. It was in legal system, and they were finalizing the thing whether it belongs to Ram Lala or not. So Ram Lala itself was the one contender on behalf that other lawyers would say it is his place. Like that, the Ganga river, it is living entity. Ganga is the legal living entity in India. Rivers are, that's what the ancient culture is. We worship river as God. And there is the form of river who is presiding over this water body, which purifies, which gives cultivation, which gives grains for that, and which gives communication for and on which edges, on its banks, developed huge cities. So that river, which is the life force of civilization, that became like the deity and Ganga, Devi, and gave the name of Devi. Narmada. And Shankaracharya wrote beautiful poems in praise of Mother Ganga. If we have devotion to Mother Ganga, and if I live near you, Mother, what we want? I want to live in you like a fish or like a weed on your bank. What do we need? What do I need more than that? That is type of the living entity. The very water body has the Abhimani Devata called Ganga Mata. And form is given, she writes in crocodile, Makara is her Vahana, and she wields so many things in her hand, the lotus flower and this and Japamala and all that, and like that she is there ever benign. So we pray to Ganga, not the river, that material thing, but the presiding deity of the Ganga, who is the governor of that water. So that is how the prayer comes, making everything like having the God or the form. There is the God and there is heaven. Heaven has the one ruler which is called Indra. Indra is the king of gods, he is called Indra. Now Indra is in those who worship Mother Kali, they say all these powers of nature are subordinate to Mother Kali and are called Parsada, or they are companions, accompaniments of Mother Kali. If we please Mother Kali, all powers will be for your support. And who are the powers of Mother Kali? One is Indra himself, is subordinate to Mother Kali. How is Indra? It is yellow color. You say how, it's not from Vedas, it's from the Puranas, later on, it is in Tantra, later on developed, but it says he is yellow in color and he rides, all gods have some vehicles, animals, through which they move. So it has the celestial elephant, white elephant that came from the churning of ocean as its greatest gift, and on that it rides. It's called Airavata. And it has the power, it wields the thunderbolt. So it can throw thunderbolt on whom it becomes angry. So prayer of the people is, "Oh Indra, be propitious to us, save us from your thunderbolt." When the rainy time the thunderbolt used to fall, there was no discovery of lightning arrestor, and people used to die. So prayer to God in that form, anthropomorphic, all prayer. Then Surad, who is the Lord of all gods, you are that. And fire became God. In many mythology, fire was brought from heaven. Here the fire is also divine, because it gives us life, it cooks food for us, it gives us warmth. So it becomes God. And as it is a power, and that power, behind that power will be some controller, some person that has the eye sense and will be controlling the power of fire. And that controller is called Agni Devata, the fire god. How it will be? It will be Raktavarna, red in color. Its complexion is red. And Indra was yellow complexion, it is red complexion. And for its riding vehicle, the animal is Mesha, that is a ship. And it has got power in its hand, and it is the Lord of all the powerful, the lights, all lights and fire. So it is that which is called Agni Devata. And even the god of death is God. What does god of death signify? There is the one being that has become, and in our Hinduism, any human soul that does some good work can attain to the position that Yama is the position of the being which is risen to that level to govern all this life system. Whenever someone has to, his lifespan is finished, Yama's duty is to go and bring its soul. He is ordained for that. And he has to do it in perfect time. No delay can be done. So it always follows time and punctuality. Whenever time is there for death, like if my time has come now, I will drop down here, Yama will come to take me. It is his responsibility. He has to follow just work. He is not a cruel being. It follows the law of Creator, that when people die, you have to bring. And it is very punctual, it has to be. Otherwise, that's why I say, they are also afraid of God. Who are afraid? Vishasmad vatah pavate vishodeti surya vishasmad agnischin vishadmad indras agnischa mrityur dhavati panchama. The air blows out of the fear of the Lord. There is someone observing, so it has to blow. Vishadmad vatah pavate vishodeti. And sun rises out of the fear. It has to be punctual, it has to rise in time. Because there is someone looking after, governing there, supreme being, the creator. It had made the creation and made the law. So the word used the fear, but in fact it means the law, the rule, which is called in Sanskrit ritam. Satyam is the ultimate truth, ritam is the natural truth. That ritam they have to follow. And Agni, and Indra, and Mrityur Dhavati Panchama, and the fifth god, Mrityu, that also runs always. Why it runs? Out of fear. Out of fear of what? Fear of law that has been made. So that is how poetically described is out of fear they all run. So Yama is then anthropomorphic, human form is given for Yama. Yama is Krishna Varna, is black in color. Mahisha Vahana. What is it? Vehicle on which it goes, it moves. Mahisha Vahana. On buffalo. He is black in color, buffalo also black in color. And it is Dandahasta, it has a rod in its hand as the weapon. And Pretadhipati, and the master of all souls. It is the Lord of all souls, because souls have to go to him, and then after their karma is finished, and then Yama has to say, now it is your destination to go and be born as this person, or as this animal, according to the karma, or as this tree, or this amoeba, or this bacteria. Different beings all have soul, and the soul is one. That soul will be put in the body according to the karma they have performed in this life or in previous lives. So, prarabdha karma finishes, then sanchita karma makes into their going. Who is responsible? The Yama is responsible for that. Only this is the color set. And there is Jaladhipati, Lord of water bodies. What is Lord of water bodies? Varuna, it's called Varuna. He is Shukla Varna, it is white complex, fair complexion, Shukla Varna. And he writes on Makara. The Makara is like a alligator, something like that, some water animal. It writes on that. It has noose in its, at its weapon, noose, it takes away. That's how it is said, to catch the wild aquatic animals maybe. And Jaladhipati, this Varuna. So like that, every form of God, every power that is there has some God behind it, who rules that being. Now in the story in Puranas comes, when Krishna comes as Supreme Brahman manifesting as Krishna. And there is the deputies that are put to control these different powers, water body, the rain, and the fire, and the sun. All these are different deputies that have been put by the Brahman. And Brahman itself came as the incarnation of God. Now what happens? Sometimes conflict comes. Rama wants to go to Lanka, and he goes there and prays to Varuna, the Lord of water body, allow me to build a bridge there. And Varuna was in very much big waves. It is not listening to it. Varuna, the Lord of water. And then Rama says, what you are not doing? I will shoot you. And he puts there, visible Varuna, as it described, but it's full-set arrow to shoot water, to hit the Lord of that water, that is Varuna. And the Varuna comes in the human form and prays, I understand now your power, please make the bridge here. Similar happened to Krishna. There were people all worshipping Indra, who is the Lord and governor of rain and lightning. And they had forgotten the Supreme Being or the worship of the Atman or self-control, but they were just worshipping Indra on one day. The Krishna said they are not rightly worshipping the Brahman, the Supreme Being, and for some controller of the natural power has become so powerful and they have become all in all, they will not achieve the goal of worshipping and the truth of the real God. So Krishna said, Indra is not the real God. He is the deputy, he is the governor, he rules only over water. He is not the Supreme Self. And that Indra became angry with that, and he stopped worship. How Brahman, who stopped worship of his own deputies. And then Indra became very angry. He is not getting the offering. Now they depend, gods depend on the offering and the service of the human beings. Sri Krishna says in the Gita, Parasparam bhavayantaha sreya paramavapsata. Gods will give you the things you need. Rain and the sunshine and the good air. And you also in turn give to the gods their own respect, prayer, and don't and use the things that God has given you in a proper way. Don't misuse that. Water, air, don't pollute that. That will be, then gods will be unhappy. They will not give you the thing that you need. Balance of nature. How beautifully said, balance of nature by interpersonal, the respect and adoration. You respect gods, God will respect you. Parasparam bhavayanta, shreya paramavapsara. Then there will be shreya, that will bring out good for both of you. Gods will also get your offering. Gods will grant you whatever you need. Like that it should be there. So Indra then became very angry and said, now I will show to them, this fellow has come. He could not recognize that it is Brahman himself. Sometimes this God, Indra, always fails to recognize Brahman. So then it started pouring water. Now deluge, rain coming, not stopping, where the villagers, small huts made up of straw and mud. Now what to do, how to save? Krishna being supreme being, he can do anything. He can Krishna can pass elephant from the eye of a needle. Nothing is there impossible. So what Krishna really did, he put out one whole hill near that Vrindavan, the hill was there, and put it as the umbrella on his little finger. A small boy, he was just teenager, Krishna at that time. On his little finger, Krishna put the whole mountain, and it saved, and rain came, and mountain and all were saved. 7 days when it happened, and nothing was there, all were saved. Then Indra came to Krishna and recognized him. Indra, in the Upanishad also there is a story how Indra failed to know the Brahman. They had the fight with Indra and Agni and Varuna, all these gods had fight with Asuras. Asuras are devils. And in that gods, they own the battle. And by winning the battle, they thought, we have won, we are powerful, we have vanquished these Asuras. Now gods were supposed to be egoless. They should be understanding that power is not their own, power is the real power, is the power of Brahman, power of ultimate God. They are just manifesting through it by God's this thing that it has come. But they forgot their own position, became very arrogant. Then Brahman thought, we have to teach these people our lesson. They are good people, but they have forgotten that. They have become egoistic, proud, arrogant, and Brahman came in the form of Yaksha, invisible being. In the heaven, someone approached without any information, without any permission. That itself was surprising for Indra. And then Indra asked Agni to go and find out who has come in the heaven without information. How could they come? Agni goes there, and before Agni asked that being asked, who are you? And what can you do? Agni says, I am the god of fire. And what can you do? I can burn anything. I can burn forest. I can burn cities. I can burn anything. I am very powerful. Okay, then burn this straw, small grass. He just, Akshay kept in front of him, burn that. And Agni put all his power to burn that, and he could not burn. Because power was not burning power, all that Agni had, it came from Brahman. And he denied the power of Brahman and became egoistic, and there was no power applicable to him. And this Agni became very shy and sad and returned back, hanging his head down, and came and sat with the king. Indra asked, what happened? No answer. Then he said, Vayu, go and find out who has come, intruded in heaven without my knowledge, without our knowledge. And he goes there. And then he said, who are you? And I said, I am Vayu, the god of air, wind, storm. I am that. Then what can you do? I can blow anything. I can forests and the cities and anything I can blow when I have so much power. Okay, blow this straw, this blade of grass, and Vayu cannot do. Then Vayu also returns back ashamed of his power. No power was working. What happened that way? No internet working. We say, no, sometime like that their power was not working. Someone has already taken back their internet connection. So they became very sad. Now Indra himself came. And then when Indra came, that Yaksha was not there. That strange being was not there. In that place was a Uma Himavati, one goddess of charming beauty was there. And she said, He asked, who was there giving that all this trouble? And she was a heavenly divine mother came. And he said, oh Indra, it was Brahman himself came to give you lesson. You forgot that you own the power, you own the war by the power of Brahman. You don't have your own power. All your power is the power of that one supreme reality that manifests through you. And in the ego, you forgot that you are powerful. I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. Aham karta, aham bhokta. We often think that when that is the ultimate of ignorance. And they had also become ignorant. They said that it is Brahman. Don't be deluded that it is your power. All power of all gods is the power of Brahman. When Sri Krishna says, be devoted to me, I will deliver you from that. Through devotion, you can reach me. When he says that, he doesn't say the Krishna that manifested. He says that the Supreme Being that has the power, he becomes identified with the Brahman. So Brahman is the ultimate. Through all the gods, different forms of gods that we worship, Kali or Durga, Shiva or Jesus, Ramakrishna or Chaitanya, all these are the Brahman themselves manifested, approachable, praiseable, and they also, we feel they give us grant, they have mercy on us, they give us their all support, and their kindness, that Brahman's kindness, that kindness of the Creator, all that comes to us through the manifested Creator, manifested Brahman. That's why they are called Pratyaksha Brahman. Brahman is apratyaksha, we cannot see, but pratyaksha, direct, perceptible Brahman are these different forms of God. Each God signifies that Brahman. Each natural power signifies the power of that Creator, that Brahman, which is there for us to give all favorable circumstances to live and work and think in this world, so that we grow in the right perspective, on the right path, and finally realize our oneness of our soul with the Supreme Soul, or Brahman. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Our Jiva, or the Atman, or the soul, becomes one with that ultimate reality, or Brahman. Realization of that is all facilitated by all gods that we worship, all gods that we conceive, and by their support, we hope to realize this, our own Atman, who really I am that Supreme Being. Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman. Thank you.